Hello everyone, it's me, the Booknester, and I'm here today because I'm kind of embarrassed. But I think I'm embarrassed about the fact that I was embarrassed to begin with. This is about judging a book by its cover. Now, all of us have done the cover buys, and we have some beautiful examples I just did in my recent and only haul. But what about those covers that catch our attention maybe for not so much the beauty of it? So here's the story. I think it was the day after Christmas. We went over to our neighbor's house, and she's a lovely lady who I respect a great deal. And when we went into her home, there was a book sitting on the counter, the island in the kitchen. And my son actually noticed it, and he's a big book lover like I am. Though his tastes run very different than mine. But he saw the book, didn't say anything at first, and then later on as we got talking, he finally asked about it as we were leaving. He's like, "Can I please take a look at this book? What is it about?" And she simply says, "Oh, sure, go ahead and take a look at it." She tells me that it's a friend of hers who is an author actually recommended this book, that he had found it and he thought that she might, really, really enjoy it. So I go to look at what the book is, and I'm like, wow. And for a split second, I suddenly started going, maybe I don't know my neighbor as well as I thought. Which, come to find out, I didn't know myself as well. So what am I talking about, and what book am I talking about? So overall, I've been hemming and hawing about if I was even going to come up and do a YouTube video, because the book that I ended up picking up, and she offered it to my son and said, you can take it and read it. Now, there is no way my son's going to get through this. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, he's like me. He can't turn a book down. He has tons of books, but he's in university and he's in his last semester, and he is really, really busy. And as we all know, it seems like when you go to university, other than if you're an English lit major, reading for pleasure becomes really, really difficult. And he has tons of books started, but he's like me, he can't turn a book down. So he brought it back, and I said, "Can I take a look at that book?" And I took a look at it, and I read the synopsis, the blurb, and I'm like, what? And then I started reading it. All right, so that was, less than a month ago, and now I have finished the book because it was really quite interesting and right up my alley. And for all my snootiness and shock at the cover, the book, the story inside was really good. But I know myself. If I had seen this book, I would have looked at it guiltily, probably hiding, going, I hope nobody's looking, read the blurb, and then been like, no, I'm not going to buy it. The cover actually would have put a reader like me off. So let's go to the book that I'm talking about. Now, I left the picture up there for a while because I wanted you to fully enjoy the absurdness, that's a word, the absurdness of the cover. And really ask yourself, would you have picked it up to look at it? That's one. But B, would you have caught yourself buying it? Now, granted, you don't have the wonderful ability to read what the back of it is. But this book and this crazy cover, it's like a penny dreadful. Sorry about the shine there. But seriously. So what is the book about? Is it about Oscar Wilde? And is he a vampire hunter? And is this a vampire book? And is it a book, I don't know, that has a love twist in it where, I don't know, Oscar Wilde falls in love with a vampire who, I'm not a big vampire. In fact, I haven't read any of the vampire books. Even, Rice's books. I haven't read those either. I'm not passing judgment on those, but typically I accidentally did read a vampire-based book other than Dracula, which I would like to read. But this other book, it was like I totally got tricked and did not know it was all about a vampire legend until about 100 pages in, and you're like, oh, this is really about a vampire. I'm not saying anything against those books because I haven't read them, and I'm not going to say anything against a book I haven't read. But it's just not normally my cup of tea. like I said, I read like 50 pages into this and was like, this is really good. This is really interesting. I got to see where this is going to go. You know, I enjoyed the writing, everything else. But let's get back to the cover for a minute, because this is more what this discussion is, because I'm going to go over this a little bit more. This book a little bit in probably a separate video, but just looking at the cover. So this is the American cover. When I went out on Goodreads to put down that I had read this book, I was like, that's the only cover. So it's called Oscar Wilde and the Vampire Murderers. However, because I was enjoying the series, or I was enjoying the book so much, and then come to find out, it's book number 4 in a series of Oscar Wilde mysteries. And I was like, I'm liking this, and I like how it's written. Let me go see about the other ones. And, you know, you can order off of Amazon, and nobody really has to see your book or see you purchasing it. Plus, I had a feeling they were older books, and they were. They are older books. But this is the same book. I'm going to put the picture up for you. Yeah, this is the book, the English version, I believe, the English UK version, and it's called Oscar Wilde and the Nest of Vipers, not even vampire murders. Beautiful, so beautiful that I went and ordered as many of the other ones as I could with this style of cover. Now the downside is I could only find the paperback version for some, and one of them or two of them I think I was able to get in hardback. But again, I'll show you that whenever I want to talk about this new series a little bit. But I'm talking about the cover. This I would pick up. This I would buy and proudly walk out. This is beautiful. This might have been just a cover buy. I might not even really read the blurb that much. You know, knowing that Oscar Wilde is the main character in a mystery series, that's enough, and this cover would seal the deal for me. What? Why? Why is this what I think is the American version? And you know why? Because it's sensationalism. It's appealing to that, what the? It's that penny dreadful. I mean, it's that, you know, kind of sensationalism. And I'm like, oh, I even have it upside down. Sorry. But no, I mean, seriously, this makes me think Americans, readers, are being shortchanged. I mean, it's a little insulting that this is what it takes in America to sell this very same book. It's sad in a way. I fell for it. Yay, marketers, you at least got me to look at it. But this is the difference. I would not have bought it. This was given to me, and I'm like, from somebody that I respect, and thinking, oh, there's something here. My son physically brought it over to the house. Not, you know, so it was in my house, and it's a book, and curiosity, yes. And I gave it 50 pages and went, oh, I want to read this. But why this? I mean, again, this cover, to die for, would have loved. Well, I loved it so much that I bought it. Now, I've enjoyed the story so much that I've now ordered the rest in the series in various formats, whether it's paperback or hardback, however I could find them. But every one of them is in this style. Yeah. There is one other book in the series that they've done in a similar vein. I don't remember the name of it, with the black and white and a red. So, you know, if you like, I mean, this is a talker. This is a leave it on your counter and people are going to ask you about it book. Leave it, you know, so in a way it's fulfilled its destiny very, very well. But really? So I have read the story. Let me just tell you briefly about the story, if I can, because we know I can't do brief very well. The story basically is it's an Oscar Wilde mystery, and Oscar Wilde is incredibly Sherlock Holmes-like in his, and I think the term flamboyant would be appropriate, style in his mix of words. And it makes for a really fun kind of romp as you're going through with this larger-than-life character. You know, some people in real life make you go, were you written in a book? Well, he makes an incredibly fantastic character in a book. The cast in this, and I'm going to say the cast because I was seeing this in my head as a movie, just going, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody has not grabbed hold of this. This is not in the vein, and I have to tell you, that's what I thought this was. It's not in the vein of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies or any of those where they kind of really tweak it like that. Nothing like that. It is totally in the style of a detective mystery, much like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. This is where even better comes in. The next major character in this book, his sidekick, Oscar Wilde's sidekick, is Arthur Conan Doyle. Dr. Arthur Conan Doyle, who is very much like a Dr. Watson. So the two of them get into this mystery and they start having to solve it. There's a dead body, boom, because it always has to start that. The other characters, let me get this out just so that I don't forget anybody. The other characters in this are, let's see. Oh, we should have had this open beforehand. Sorry. And I may say some of these names incorrectly. There's Robert Sherrard, who was a companion to Oscar Wilde and was a poet and writer of the time and even did an autobiography of the time on Oscar Wilde. Bram Stoker makes his appearance. There's Jane Averill, who was the lady that the famed Moulin Rouge posters were created by Toulouse-Lautrec. She was the model for that. She's in there. You have Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, who became Edward VII. And you have his son in there as well. So some really great historical figures. Now what makes this fantastic for me is it's a mystery. It's a historical fiction mystery, and I love that. The implication is this really happened. I have to tell you that I really like the term Nest of Vipers better than the vampire murders. I just think it's a better title that goes better with what's going on in the whole book. Great ending, kind of like you start clipping and you're like, I want to know, and very Sherlock Holmes reveal type thing. Just to let you know, there's a dead body in the other room whenever. Actually, there's a couple dead bodies in the other room whenever whenever they do the reveal. So kind of fascinating. Makes me really interested in Oscar Wilde. I did recently listen to A Picture of Dorian Gray at the same time as reading this, and I really enjoyed the writing in it. The other thing is this is from everybody's perspective. You're seeing letters from Oscar, from Arthur Conan Doyle, sorry. Bram Stoker, you see letters, correspondence going back that tell this story. It does really well about, so you're going through the story in one person's diary entry or experience, and you go through that whole experience, and then it switches to the other person. And the other person usually is writing either a letter to someone recapping a little bit of what happened, but it's done beautifully where it isn't like, you don't go completely repeating, but you get caught up and you remember. It really helps you visualize that all these characters were in those scenes before. And again, I'm going to use terms like characters and cast and scenes because it just has that feel. I could see this visually playing out that way. I'm going to go ahead. I've already ordered the other books. I'm looking forward to reading them, and I'm hoping to do a synopsis on the series once I get done to let you know if all of them held up. If I get to one and I don't really like it, then if I DNF it, then I'll come on and just say, well, I'm going to continue with the series, but maybe I'm not going to do a big, huge wrap-up. But right now, really loving what I just read. However, totally disappointed. Why, oh, why do Americans get this? And I keep holding it upside down. Why is that? This, compared to, oh, now I'm showing you the back of the book. Even better. I got to practice this. Versus this. Really? Really. Have you seen the same thing? Do you often think the same thing and go, and do you think this would be insulting? Or is it really just captivating and that's why it worked? It worked on me. As I always keep saying, keep turning those pages. Thanks for watching.